There's having conversations with women, and then there's having conversations with women that actually lead to dates. Most guys aren't having them because they miss a key ingredient that's been shown through thousands of tests to be absolutely critical. It's being man to woman. Today, I'm gonna explain why this is so important and how you can use this to create sexual tension in your interactions and have conversations that do lead to dates. Okay, what does it mean to be man to women? Being man to women, it means you're behaving around the girl in a way that you wouldn't around a guy friend. So for example, calling a girl cute, holding her hand as you lead her through a crowd, asking her out on a date. These are all man to women things that you wouldn't do around a guy friend, right? Most guys aren't actually doing this at all in their conversations with women, unless it's on Tinder and they have the proxy of a screen. And many guys are doing this, but they're not doing it properly. So they get perceived as the friendly guy or somebody who's beating around the bush and not really getting to the point of why they're really there. So the reason why this is, it's really a combination of fear, misconceptions, and then just not knowing how to do it. And I'm gonna solve all of this for you today. Misconception number one, just spending more time with the girl without being man to women will eventually create a connection naturally. So this is a huge one that a lot of guys do. They think that just talking to the girl as a friend for 30 minutes and then asking her out on a date will eventually create a connection naturally. First of all, I don't even know what the word naturally even means. I mean, we're all biological beings in the first place, so I guess everything I really do is natural. But second of all, they're right. It will create a connection if you just talk to a girl platonically. But it's not gonna be the right type of connection, a romantic connection, right? So what precedes a romantic connection? It's first and foremost a man to woman vibe. By approaching a girl, you're basically just on the court. When you are man to women, you're really shooting your shot at that point. So if you are talking to women, if you are approaching women, I just want to say, like, first and foremost, I commend you, because most guys aren't even in the stadium when it comes to this stuff. But now we want to start actually shooting your shot. That's the difference. And by the way, if you're a guy that wants to start going on 1 to 3 dates every single week, click the link below because I have a beautiful, amazing video that's going to teach you more about how to do that below. Okay, the second thing with this is the girl does not assume a man to woman frame. She doesn't just assume that that is what's going on out of the blue. As a beginner, I thought that when I approached a girl, she just automatically knew what the deal was. I would get the number, and then it never turned into dates because I wasn't actually creating an emotional, romantic connection with the girl, right? There was no memory of me. She was like forgetting me in 5 minutes. The next misconception is that being man to woman means you're being needy or you're laying all your cards out on the table, basically professing your love to the girl. And it doesn't have to be that way at all. All right, I'm gonna show you how to be man to woman later in this video without giving away your power. But this holds a lot of guys back too. All right, the second reason why they don't be man to women is fear. So they subconsciously know that being friendly, just being a nice guy, instead of being man to woman, it's gonna keep them safe from rejection, right? So if I show a girl like I'm just a really nice, friendly guy and I don't actually shoot my shot, I'm not gonna get rejected and I'm not gonna have to deal with whatever little emotional pain that you have as a beginner when that happens, right? And so what they do is they wait for the girl to actually be the first one to hit on them. And at the same time, the girl is waiting for them to be the first one because you're the guy. It's a big social risk for the girl to be the one flirting first, for the girl to make the first move. If it doesn't work out well, it could tarnish her reputation, right? It's not a big deal for a guy to do that, but it is for a girl to fail doing that. And so with that being said, it is a social risk for you to be flirtatious. It's a necessary risk. So we have to think about the cost benefit analysis of you approaching a girl or you being man to woman, shooting your shot. Okay, so you're man to woman. Either it works and awesome things happen, or it doesn't work and literally nothing happens. Nothing explodes. You don't die. You're the same exact person as before. Or you just don't be man to women and nothing happens. It just goes nowhere. You're friend zoned. All right, so only good things can happen. Like, there's no negative consequences of you actually being man to women. It's only upside. Okay, the second fear that guys have, they're worried that being man to woman is weird. And what this comes from is not having reference experiences, right? So if you've never experienced being man to woman, then you don't know that it works, then you don't know that it's actually awesome. Once you're man to woman, you actually do a real approach, and then it works, it results in a relationship, dates, etc., then you realize that it works. But until then, you just don't know. So this is why when I was a beginner, when I first started getting into this social skills stuff, I had no reference experiences of any of this stuff working. So I just had to put my trust in my guide, you know, the guy who had been doing this for years, who had been down the path before me. I had to put my faith into what that he was saying actually was going to work for me, or I would have never taken action in the first place, okay? So in life, if we don't put our faith into things, it's nearly impossible to actually live. All right, think about it. Before you go onto a plane for the first time, you don't actually know that you're not gonna die. You just have to put your faith in the fact that it's going to land. All right, before you take a medicine for the first time when you're sick, you just have to put your faith in that the medicine is going to heal you and it's not gonna kill you. We're always putting our faith into things. And when it comes to getting better with dating, when it comes to practicing new social skills, you have to really trust in the process or you're never gonna take the action. When you're man to women with full belief, you're just unapologetic about it. It shows that you've probably had success with being man to women in the past. From that, there's implied social proof that other women must have been receptive to you being man to women. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't still be doing it. So that, you know, automatically creates value. Now, how to be man to women. And number one is your words, all right? And this could be like a direct opener. Hey, I was over there and I saw you with a cute dress and I had to come say hi. A classic direct opener where you're giving a girl a compliment immediately. Complimenting. That's some long, pretty hair. I like that. And be careful not to overdo compliments, but really, it's hard to overdo compliments because if you've ever been in a position where you find yourself like complimenting the girl a lot and really over validating her, you get this icky feeling inside, you get this beta feeling inside, and you really stop doing that pretty quickly. How else? Flirting in a way that's not giving away all of your power, right? So for example, I was kind of liking you until you said X. You have an interesting vibe, push-pull. Is that your way of flirting with guys? Notice how when I'm flirting with a girl in this way, like I say something like, I was kind of liking you until you said this, I'm actually disqualifying the girl in a flirtatious way. So it's different than me saying, you know, I like you. I'm absolutely sold on you and I'm in love with you. But I'm actually pushing her away a little bit so I retain my power. You're jokingly teasing the girl and pushing her away while you're implanting the idea of relationship, you and the girl, into that conversation. So this is how it's done. And when I first started learning about these, like the push-pull, for example, I was like, there's no way that this is actually gonna work. I thought this is just complete BS. Like, I'm gonna push the girl away and that's gonna actually make her like me. That's gonna be good flirting. Like, it didn't seem like it made sense. But yeah, when I first started trying this, and I would do a classic push-pull like, oh, you're cute, but you seem like trouble, I would see that the girl would actually start qualifying herself after that. So she would be like, oh, I'm not really trouble, I'm actually really nice. And I was like, oh, so this actually is gonna make the girl start qualifying herself, and it's going to create attraction a lot of times. By the way, everybody who clicks the link in the description and books a strategy session with me, I give them all my free flirting guide at the end of the strategy session. It has a ton of flirting lines, sort of like these. Okay, and the next way to be man to women is in your clothes, right? So, hey, we should go out for coffee sometime. Hey, we should hang out sometime, right? So that brings me to the next point about how to be man to women is your vibe. All right, being man to women, it's not like memorizing all the lines and just repeating words. Being man to women is your whole communication with the girl. All right, it's your vibe. The tone of voice that you use when you're flirting. So, for example, when you're closing, like when you're getting the girl's number or, moving her somewhere else to a different location, you have to actually believe in it. It has to sound to the girl like you really believe in it. And a major problem that I had in the beginning, I would run a really good interaction with a girl. Like it would be super on, I'd be joking around, making her laugh. And at the very end of the interaction, when it came time to ask her for her number or whatever, I would fumble around and I wouldn't really believe in myself that I was even really deserving of her number or that she was gonna give me her number. I would ask her like, hey, we should exchange numbers? I didn't sound like I just assumed that she was gonna give me her number. So this is why your tone of voice is so important. Okay, your vibe, the way you look at the girl, the eye contact you give to the girl. It's not gonna be the same way you look at a family member. It's not gonna be the same way that you look at your grandma or a guy friend, all right? You look at the girl differently. The smirk you have when you say your flirting lines, that goes along with, the eyes too. If you're sort of getting a theme here, you don't just do man to women. It's not like a doing, it's a being. So in the beginning, I really had to drill this into my brain. I am not a friendly guy who goes up to the girl and I'm like, hey, you're super awesome. I'm man to women. Now let's get into some mistakes that a lot of guys do when they're man to women. Number one is that they'll use a direct opener and then they'll go platonic. So they'll be man to woman, like very initially in the beginning. And then from there, they think, okay, I established man to women. Now the rest of this conversation is man to women. And it's not like a one and done kind of thing. It's not something that you just establish one time, but once again, it's a being. So instead of it sort of looking like this line right here, where you have one man to woman spike in the beginning and then it's flat, what it sort of looks like is, okay, maybe in the beginning I use a direct opener, there's a spike. Now there's another, spike here. Now there's a little spike here. Now there's one here. So you never really stop doing it, okay? It has to continue. And that goes with the next point, the next mistake that guys will do. They will be man to women a lot and they'll get her really attracted. And then when it comes time to connect with the girl on a deeper level, maybe if they're talking to the girl really long in the initial conversation, then they lose the man to woman vibe. They lose the emotional spikes and the flirtatious energy. It would sort of be like when you're watching a really good show and the first season is amazing. And then after that, it just goes downhill from there. And that's the sort of emotional vibe that women experience when you lose the man to women energy. All right, now, once again, if you want to start going on actual dates from your approaches with women, click the link below and I have a video all about that kind of stuff. And it's really beautiful. But that's all I have for today, guys. And I'll see you all in the next one.